Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to take care of me? I, 32 male, was in a serious car accident, but I'll be able to leave the hospital soon. The doctor said I won't have any permanent damage, but I'll go through a long rehab process to be able to walk normally again. And at least for the first few months, I'll need help with basic things. I've been in a relationship for 5 years with my girlfriend, 30, but we don't live together. When my mother came to visit me, she asked whether I wanted her to move into my place or whether a girlfriend would give me the support that I need. I talked to my girlfriend, assuming that she would move in with me for at least the 6 to 8 months it will take for me to be able to take care of myself again. She was very clear in saying that she would not move in and would not help me in the way that I was expecting. Her plan was to pay for a carer for me and visit so that we could spend time together, since I won't be able to go out for a while like we used to. I should say that I'm not doing well with the idea of being so dependent, but I had convinced myself that this experience could strengthen our relationship. My father had a workplace accident when I was 12, and my memories of my mother taking care of him shaped part of my idea of love and devotion. That's what I was clinging to in order to cope with what I imagine will be a very, very humiliating and difficult months for me. It was quite shocking to hear her say that she will take care of me just in her own way, and if that I'm not okay with that, then I should ask my mother to take care of me instead. There are cultural factors as well. I'm American, and her family seems to have traveled half the world. On her mother's side, her great-grandmother was Italian and immigrated to Brazil, where she married a Portuguese man. On her father's side, her grandfather was Dutch, immigrated to Spain, and married a Spanish woman. My girlfriend was born in Brazil but lived for many years in France and in the UK. I mention this because we've already faced many cultural differences, hers coming from multiple cultures, and I don't know whether this is just another case of that. In any case, there wasn't an argument. It's hard to argue with her because, well, she might as well be the Dalai Lama's daughter. She rarely loses her patience and is very articulate. She simply laid out the options and told me to decide. Saying I'm unhappy would be an understatement, but what she proposed does make sense. And that's what makes me wonder whether I'm being an idiot for being upset about this. So am I the asshole? I can understand I think both sides of it. I don't think that she's purposely trying to say hey, I think you guys have very different expectations in a relationship, and I don't think that, I don't know if I'm being bold in saying this, but I don't think either of them are wrong. I just think that maybe you're not with the right person, because I do think that it's fine for her to not want to drop everything and take care of you. And I don't mean that in a mean way or anything, but it's just at the same time, being a caretaker is a lot. That's why it's someone's job. It's a lot of people have a job to be a caretaker because it's a lot. And not she probably just wants to not have resentment towards you. She might feel like she wants to live her own life while you're healing, but also still spend time with you. And I do think that there is a certain type of devotion that you have to your partner, but I also feel like you can't expect your partner to just completely I don't know what she does for work, or what I don't know what she does for work or what she does in her free time or what she does day to day, but I can imagine that not a lot of people would want to just drop everything and take care of their partner in that way, in a full-time caregiver way. I can see how I would want to go take care of my partner when I'm done with work, but I don't want to give up my whole life. Does that sound bad? I don't think so. I don't know. I think that it's perfectly fine, but it's not like she's no, you need to figure it out yourself. She's I'll hire a caretaker that does this professionally, and then we can still spend time together, but I can still have my own life, and this caretaker that has a job to do this specific thing will be able to take on the heavy duty lifting, and then that won't build resentment, because her life would revolve around you essentially for more than half a year. And I don't know if I'm sounding selfish right now, but I wouldn't I would expect my boyfriend to take care of me when he gets home from work and like take care of me as much as possible, but I wouldn't expect him to just drop everything and become my full-time caregiver. Like, he also has a 9 to 5 job. He also has a life outside of me, and I would want him to keep that life because I don't want him to feel like I am just expecting him to drop everything and take care of me. I think that's like valid. I don't know. Because I can see it from both sides. I can understand why he would want that, and maybe he just needs to find another partner that has the same expectations as him. But then at the same time, I can see her side of things as well. And I think that they're just probably not meant for each other because they have a lot of differences in what they want in a relationship and what they expect out of their partners. And it seems like one of those things that you can't really give or take. Like, it's not really, this is a big thing to like disagree on. I don't know. But there's a consensus that says he's the asshole, which I'm not sure if I agree with, but let me see what people are saying. And then maybe I'll change my mind. I feel like neither are the asshole, if I'm being honest, but let's see. Editor's note, the moderation of Am I the Asshole ended up deleting the posting due to OP being so clueless they thought it was a fake posting since nobody can be that clueless. Notable comments. I suspect you're feeling this way is because her idea of taking care of you contrasts drastically with your romanticized, idealized memory from your childhood. You really expected for her or your mother to slave over you for 6 to 8 months at your beck and call? Yeah, you're definitely crossing the asshole line. Do either of these ladies work outside of the home? Your girlfriend is a keeper. She knows her own limits, knows what she'll tolerate, comes up with good plans, and communicates very clearly and well. You're the asshole. Caregiving is a massive responsibility and drain. Just because your mother did it doesn't mean anyone else on earth needs to do it, particularly if there are resources and choices. How selfish do you have to be? You have presumably not ever asked her to move in with you before, so it's not fair to expect her to take you up on this fabulous offer because you now need the help. You're not married and presumably aren't proposing marriage. Why should she drop everything to wait on you? I would strongly recommend that you not put pressure on her to do this, as it could cause enormous strain on your relationship. Meanwhile, think of how you can build the relationship into something where you both feel committed to each other, enough to want to be there for each other in times like this. To me, it sounds like you didn't invest enough before to have the type of relationship that you suddenly want because you're in need. Sorry for your misfortune, and I hope that you get better quick, but yeah, you're the asshole. Count yourself lucky she wants to stick around at all. And maybe think about how to work towards the type of relationship that you picture. T. That's honestly so real. Those are real ass comments, okay? So we have an update, okay? And this is about 15 hours later, and it is mega long. It's way longer than the original post, but we're going to read it. Yesterday, I posted about my dilemma with my girlfriend, who said she wouldn't take care of me during my rehab. I'm such an idiot that the post ended up being flagged as fake. I had no idea my idealization was that absurd. I read enough comments to realize that I'm the asshole in this situation. I couldn't reply to everyone individually because there were too many comments and I don't want to overdo it. I'm still recovering, so I'm going to answer the main questions and update here. I love my girlfriend. I would do anything for her, and I know she's the one. We're not married because she doesn't want to be. I thought about asking her to marry me in our first year together. I talked to her about it because she's not a big fan of surprises, and I knew that if I made a big public proposal, she would say no without hesitation, even if she did want to get married. As you may have noticed, she has very clear boundaries. Anyway, she told me she wasn't interested in getting married, that marriage meant nothing to her, and that it wouldn't make her more or less committed to our relationship. She said that if it was important to me, we could get married eventually. I thought about it for a long time, and obviously I was very upset too, because I had idealized buying a huge diamond, her being very happy and showing it off to her friends, which I knew wouldn't happen for reasons that would take too long to explain. Basically, a stupid thought in more than one sense. After thinking it through, I came to the conclusion that I didn't actually have a strong desire to get married. I simply had this idea that the next step was marriage and that a woman expects a ring. As for living together, I suggested that too. I expected her to move in with me during lockdown, but she ended up having a friend stay with her who had no family and didn't want to be alone. And she also brought her mother over from Brazil because her mother was kind of a COVID denier. In this way, my girlfriend had a bit more control over her mother's antics. After the pandemic, we talked about it again, and she said that she would be willing, but we'd need to find another place and define some things, like having separate bedrooms. She likes having her own space, organized her way. She said that when she wanted to be alone, she'd spend a few days in a hotel, which is what she did when her friend and her mother were living with her. Some of these things seemed strange to me, but nothing truly outrageous, and I agreed. We were looking for a place before my accident. Regarding my level of devotion and whether I'd be willing to do the same for her, yes, I would do anything for her. One example I can give is that I know she traveled a lot and lived in many countries. Before the pandemic, she never stayed more than 6 months in one place. The pandemic took its toll, and now she's not as excited about traveling and has no plans to move. However, I know this isn't her natural state, and that eventually she'll want to move again. Maybe just to another city, maybe to another country. I know it will happen sooner or later, and I'm ready to pack my bags and follow her. If tomorrow she tells me she wants to move to China, I'll be looking for plane tickets and a new physical therapist. As for expecting her to drop everything and take care of me, that's not what I expected. I won't need that much help, nor for that long. I can't do much physically, and I need help getting around, at least until I'm well enough to use crutches, but I can take care of my personal hygiene on my own. She works, but she doesn't have to. She has many projects. It's hard to keep up with how many things she does, but currently she runs a very successful SEO content agency and is developing a crypto project. I know she has a lot of freedom because sometimes she spends several days watching Netflix and says she doesn't feel like working. She has employees and basically leaves things to them and tells them to figure it out. Other days she's very busy, has lots of online meetings, which she hates, and complains that none of her employees are competent. In short, I know she could balance work with taking care of me, or simply just not work at all, and it wouldn't affect her finances. We've never combined our finances, so I don't really know how much she makes or what her financial situation is like. I always pay for everything we do together because I think it's my responsibility as a man, and I'm doing very well financially. But honestly, I think she makes a lot more money than I do. She pays for a cousin's college tuition, retired her mother at 40, and I know she also sends money to her grandma. I didn't really think through the logistics or what things would actually be like in practice. As I said, I had idealized the situation. We don't have a big height difference, but I probably weigh twice as much as she does, and it would certainly be very difficult for her to help lift me. I didn't ignore her offer to pay for a caregiver, although I may not have seen it as generous a gesture as many of you did. I could pay for a caregiver myself, and since my girlfriend is very detached from money, I didn't really see it as a sacrifice or a demonstration of love. She has a cleaner and a cook. According to her, it's cheaper for her to work and pay people to do those things than to lose work hours, cooking and cleaning the house, and she certainly doesn't want to do that in her free time. For those who said she's selfish or doesn't care about me because she didn't offer to take care of me the way that I expected, I have to say that you're way off. She's generous, kind, and the most understanding, empathetic person that I know. The type of person who, when a waiter messes up her order, she'll accept it so it doesn't get taken out of his paycheck. She heard from some relatives that a distant cousin had dropped out of law school because she couldn't afford it, and she offered to help pay her tuition. They hadn't spoken since childhood, and she didn't hesitate for a second to help her cousin achieve her dream. Last year was really hard for my brother. He ended up sleeping on my couch for almost a year. He got scammed and was left with a lot of debt, had to sell almost everything he owned, and then lost his job a few weeks later. He fell into depression. I honestly don't think that he would have climbed out of that hole if it weren't for my girlfriend. She came over every day and played PlayStation with him for hours. I was home, but I had to work, and I couldn't give him that much attention, and I also didn't know how to help. Sometimes they would just sit in silence for hours. Other times, they would talk for hours. When he stopped showering, she told him his stink was messing up her game and that his wins didn't count because he was cheating. After a few invalid wins because of the smell, he started showering again. She managed to get him to eat, even when he didn't want to. She cooked comfort foods, especially desserts, and at first my brother ate mostly out of politeness. She helped him see that losing his job wasn't the end of the world because he hated that job anyway. She helped him accept that getting scammed had been a stupid mistake on his part and that it was normal because we all do stupid things. Little by little, he started getting back on his feet, went back to studying, switched fields, and got a job that he actually likes. At one point, he had a relapse and didn't want to take the meds his psychiatrist prescribed. And my girlfriend told him she had given him the chance to heal on his own, but that it wasn't optional anymore, and that if he didn't take the medication himself, she was going to treat him like her dogs and shove the pill down his throat. I don't know if he believed her or just found it funny and ridiculous. He's my younger brother, but he's a huge gym guy, so it was like a rabbit challenging a bear. But he took the meds and only stopped when the psychiatrist approved it. In short, she helped my brother climb out of a very deep hole. I never asked her to. She took the initiative, and I couldn't be more grateful. I never thought that she was selfish, and I could never think that. And my irritation about the caregiver idea wasn't because I thought that she didn't care about me enough to help. I think that covers the main questions I've seen so far. I talked to my girlfriend and accepted the caregiver that she suggested. I should clarify that she didn't just offer to pay for the caregiver. She offered to organize everything related to my recovery. I mean, interviewing caregivers, choosing the one that she thinks is best, organizing meals, groceries, who will take me to rehab, and all of that, so that I can basically just be an invalid being taken care of. She also said she can't commit to taking me to rehab, at least for the first 2 months, because 2 weeks ago she signed a contract with a new client and doesn't know what her schedule will look like until she gets things organized so everything runs without needing her. Because of that, she also can't promise that she'll see me every day. But she did say that if she gets too busy, she could work from my place on some days. I'm not completely happy, but I've accepted that I'm the asshole, and I'm just going to let things play out and see how it goes. Maybe I'll come back in a few months to say how the experience went. Yes, she's too good for me. Oh my God, the way that he left so much out. I mean, not that I needed to know in depth, like everything that she's done to be like a good person, but she's clearly an amazing person. Not that he didn't think that to begin with, but like leaving out the fact that she didn't just say, no, I'm going to pay for your caregiver. She said, I'll organize everything. I'll hire the caregiver. I'll interview the caregivers. I'll organize meals, groceries, who will take you to rehab, everything so that you can everything will be taken care of. And I got it. Hello? Maybe your love language isn't acts of service, but girl, she is acts of servicing you. Like, fully. I don't really know what more she could do other than drop like a fly at your beck and call and take care of you herself. Like, the fact that you saw you saw this offer in front of you, she's giving you all of this without even question. Like, I will take care of all of this for you. And you still wrote this post and you said that you expect her to take care of you. Like, she is taking care of you. She literally is. She's doing everything, just not physically like taking care of you, which is a lot of work. And quite frankly, not everyone is capable of doing that or fit for the role. Like, I can tell you, I wouldn't know what in the hell to do if I had to take care of someone. And if I had the means to hire a caregiver so I didn't have to go through that, I would absolutely do that, because that's literally what they get paid for. That's literally what they get paid for. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay, the top comment said that essay of an update doesn't really explain anything other than gave us a bit of their life story, I guess. And this someone said the update made it less believable to me. Like the part where she retired her mom at 40. I wish I lived in Reddit land and had made my fortune at 18, as so many post characters seem to. I mean, her mother lives in Brazil and she's paid in dollars, so it's possible. Source: Brazilian living in Europe, paying for her mother's rent and health care. I think the skepticism is due to the age range. Like, if the mom had her at 22, then she made a fortune at 18. If this is real, I honestly think OP is thinking from his American perspective. The family is already probably well off, because it's hard AF to leave Brazil to go live in France and UK when you're young. My guess is everyone had money and she was probably sending more money, but nothing like coming from completely poverty to millionaires. By retiring her mom at 40, I thought it meant she was retired permanently. Like, wait, so it's not? What do you mean? She works but doesn't have to, but has many projects, but spends days on Netflix, but has a lot of meetings and can just not work, and it won't affect finances. So he has no clue what she does for work and assumes that she can be at his beck and call and is just choosing not to. No, but her, like, I was a little bit confused by her saying that she, like, spends days watching Netflix, but she hires, like, a cook and a cleaner so that she can work instead of doing that. But it's like, but if you spend days watching Netflix, don't you have time to cook and clean? I mean, granted, cooking and cleaning is not very fun, and I would definitely hire someone to do it if I could, but the reasoning was just funny. Someone said, do either of them even want this relationship? Maybe it's just me being weird, but at this point, it sounds like these two are extremely incompatible. I know this is what I was thinking too, is like, it seems like they just have such different standards and expectations in a relationship. And it's like, she wants to be this independent person, which is completely fine. Like, you're totally valid wanting to just be an independent person. She wants to live like in a separate room. She needs time to recharge, like away from everyone, including her partner. And then he's like, it seems like he's the opposite, and he wants to spend all of his time with her, and he wants to live with her, and he wants to marry her, but she doesn't even want to get married. It's like, no, you guys are so opposite. And it's, in a lot of ways you can compromise in relationships, but in big ways like that, when you're just completely on the opposite spectrum of someone, like you are literally one side of the coin and he is the complete other side of the coin, I don't really think that it's going to work out, especially because you have so much, like, you've put so much pressure on her, and I feel like you're gonna continue to do that. And I don't think that she's gonna, like, not that she doesn't do well with pressure, but I think she's just like so cool, calm, and collected from what I can tell, that she's just gonna be like, well, this isn't for me anymore. Love you, but I have to go to protect my peace, and you're gonna lose that relationship. I feel like I see that happening. Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.